Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. You know, I gotta say, somehow I told you so just doesn't really cut it anymore. So, if any of you have not watched the video that DJ Gigabyte put out interviewing David Person, you need to go watch that video. It's in the description below. I'll even say it's probably more important than watching this video or any other video in the Pokemon space right now. You need to go watch it, if not now, at some point in the near future. Because, well, first off, if you don't know who David Person is, you probably haven't been in the hobby very long, or maybe you just got in during the pandemic. You're not going to know about him from a content creation perspective, right? He's not, a big content creator. Neither is DJ Gigabyte. But both those guys are the OGs of this hobby. And we're talking like way back Gary King Pokemon time. Those guys have strong relationships with pretty much anyone at the tops of this hobby, whether it be the top content creators, the top collectors, the top businesses. They've done business with most all of them. They, have personal relationships. A lot of them have went on trips together, been to each other's houses, have their personal phone numbers. They all have strong relationships. And anyone who's deep in this hobby respects David and respects DJ Gigabyte as well. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it's really more focused on David because he's the one that really speaks out in this live that they did. And, look, I'm very realistic about who I am in this hobby, right? I'm nobody. I am a nobody. Even though I've been around since 2015, I've been in the shadows, right? I had multiple different accounts on different forums. And, I watched a ton of content. I mean, I watched Scott, SM Pratt since he started his channel, and I know who everyone is. And I just never got involved. I never built relationships. I never went to events. I never, I just never got into that world. And so I get when I come out and say things that it's seen as looking for views, creating drama, trying to get clout, whatever it may be. And that's fine, right? You can say whatever you want about me. But what I've always told every single person that reaches out to me, especially when I'm getting, under fire and heat, I always tell everyone the same type of line. And I say, everything comes to the light. The truth will reveal itself. You will eventually see who's in it for the love of this, for the hobby, who's actually there to help people. And eventually it will be revealed who's in it for the money and the power and the manipulation and control. And that's why I never worry too much about taking the heat and taking all the hate. It doesn't bother me because I know the more time that goes on, everyone's going to find out who I am. Everyone's going to see that I'm authentic. That, yeah, I definitely speak out. I may say some brash things at times, but guess what? With me, you're always going to get the whole truth, nothing but the truth. I have nothing to hide. And I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm just going to tell it like it is. And it's really nice to see someone like David come out because no one likes to step on anyone's toes in this hobby, right? No one likes to ever speak their mind. Everyone likes to sit the fence. Even if they disagree with others, they don't ever want to say anything because everyone knows if you disagree with someone in this hobby, right? If you disagree and make a video about your disagreement with what they say or what they believe, immediately you're public enemy number one. You get trashed. You get jumped on. You're looking for views. You're looking for clout. But here's the cool part about David. The guy doesn't need your views. He doesn't need your clout. He doesn't need the attention. He certainly doesn't need the money. If you don't know, he's got the largest, if not one of the largest, English Pokemon card collections in the entire world, both in size and value. The guy's the one who just graded both pre-release riot shoes. He owns every single trophy card ever created, right? Like I said, if anyone holds any weight in this hobby, David's one of them. And so for him to come out and say some of the things he said, it finally gives some credibility to what I've been trying to tell people, right? That everyone in this hobby is not as they seem, right? Everyone can look friendly and nice on a screen or for a few hours at a Collecticon, or if you meet them in person, they can shake your hand and smile and look. I'm telling you, like I always have, a lot of people are not the same off camera or behind the scenes as they are on. And there's a lot of weird conversations and weird dealings that happen privately that you'll never know about. And this is what I've always tried to tell people. And now more people are speaking out, so maybe more will start to believe it and see it, because guess what? I got nothing to hide. I'm an open book. You can come at me. You can, look up everything. I've always been 100% honest. Look, I know where I stand. I know I'm not a whale. I know I'm not, my voice and my opinion doesn't hold any weight. And that's great why we have David. So what we're going to do, I got some clips pulled up of some of the exact things he said, and we could dissect them a little bit. But it kind of goes to show a lot of the same things I've been saying for years now on YouTube. And it's finally nice to see one of the big guys start to talk out against some of the things that are happening behind the scenes, because it's just this is what it is. It's real. Before I do that, guys, shameless plug for myself. I am going to plug the box break for tomorrow. I know that everyone who for the last box break, I know everyone didn't get a chance to open 151 and Paradox Rift. I got multiple messages during the chat after the stream saying, "Are you going to have more of this? I want to be involved next time." So yeah, I did get more 151 UPCs, and I did get another Paradox Rift box. So there will be Paradox Rift and 151 packs available. You can get 4 packs of 151 for 25, 4 packs Paradox Rift for 15. And then, yes, we do have an Evolutions booster box. Guys, I don't do loose packs. I don't want to worry about the weighing and the tampering. Everything comes from sealed booster boxes on my channel, which will be ripped live. Evolutions packs are $25. So if anyone wants to be in on that, that's going to happen tomorrow night around 7 p.m. You can order now, or you can order, wait until the stream. But yeah, I just have 1 box each. Then we have about 4 UPCs worth of 151 again. Last time we sold out, so hopefully we have enough this time for everyone. I may get a little extra just in case. But yeah, nostalgianomics.com, you can do that, and it'll be on this channel tomorrow night. All right. You guys ready for this? Let's get going. I'm going to play this first one.
What I expect to do and what I hope to do is strip back the veil of the so-called influencers who have nothing but their own interests in mind when they preach their constant baloney and BS to those willing to listen. And those same people often require folks to pay their hard-earned dollars to even hear more of their BS behind some kind of paywall.
Well, he doesn't skip a beat. He doesn't hold any punches. Right off, coming out talking about the BS going on in the hobby and all this hidden, secretive information that's always hidden behind Patreons everywhere. Right? It's getting a little old at this point, isn't it? All right, I'm going to play this other clip, and we can talk a little bit.
Should talk just for a minute now about Mr. S.M. Pratt. Many of you guys might subscribe to his channel.
A lot of you know Scott. If you don't know S.M. Pratt, he had one of the first real Pokemon investment channels, kind of started back, I think, in 15 or 2016, and has one of the largest Pokemon, if not the largest Pokemon Patreon right now that, charges a lot of money for his advice. And he's also the owner of E4, right? We've talked about that a lot. It's been brought up a lot. So that's who SM Pratt is. He also has one of the largest Pokemon collections out there, and probably made some of the most money during the boom, because a lot of the things that he would talk very favorably during before and during the boom, he happened to own all of those things. But let's let David talk. Now, I'm not here to talk. Let's let David say it.
Oh, okay. So I don't know, but I'm going to just read you some of the notes I have, and maybe some of you guys even pay for his BS Patreon. So here we go. What's all the hate about SM Pratt? What's all the negative energy and power hungry stuff that comes out from you? Folks are going to eventually figure you out. Recently, I was on a trip to cross the country to actually get a card, to get a sheet cut. You can watch the videos on Coffee Talks of that. Fantastic. And there'll be some documentaries coming out about that process as well in the future. By the way, not hiding anything, Mr. Rattle. We'll talk to you in just a minute. All of that documented and right up front, and nothing to be ashamed of, all up front. So, but I happened to watch a video of Pratt because somebody told me, gosh, he doesn't seem so good. He seems a little off. He wrote a video, did a video saying he's going to take a break. And in the video, Mr. Pratt said, I've got so much hating going on from people right now. I got to step back. I can't stay in this hobby as much as I'm doing it now. I think he even implied he had an assistant working for him or something, and that he wasn't even doing his own comment reviewing because there were things that were just not good in the stuff that was coming in. So I thought to myself, well, doesn't that make sense? How much negativity is going to come from someone who's so negative and opinionated and is paid to do that behind a Patreon wall? And
so guys, there's a lot to unpack there. So first off, I've never met Scott in person, right? Never even talked to him. more than, you know, comments on an online forum. So all I know of Scott is just what I've seen over the years, right? I found his channel when I was, you know, getting into the hobby, when his channel was very new. It was like maybe 1,000 or a couple thousand subscribers. And now he's, you know, 30,000. It was around where he first started YouTube. And I learned a lot from Scott. I'm not going to lie. I learned a lot from him. His videos were very helpful. But, you know, what you'll hear David talk about is things go on and things get deeper, and you start to gain notoriety and you start to kind of gain popularity. You know, power can kind of corrupt some people, and it seems like it did that, especially with some of the things he started pushing and some of the power he started to, you know, the way he started to influence, you know, things online and influence the hobby and things like that. But yeah, it is interesting to hear, you know, that, you know, I take hate all the time, but as soon as, you know, other people take hate, there's something wrong with it. I don't know. It's a really crazy mess that everything's kind of went to in this community. But let's hear a little more of what David has to say. I just have a few more clips here, and then we can talk a little bit about it. So I'm not ignoring you guys in the chat. I just really wanted to get these clips out so you can kind of hear a little more if you didn't have a chance to watch the whole live yourself.
But back to Mr. Scott Pratt, he is the most power-hungry person I've ever encountered in this hobby. At one time, I would have considered him one of my very best friends. He came to my house. He stayed with me. You guys can come to read my Patreon sometime. You can come watch my Patreon. And I will tell you what went on back door of my house, okay, that I can't say just because it would not be good for his life. So I'm not saying it here. And by the way, I'm not going to tell you because I'm not going to ruin his life. But I'm going to tell you that I don't have a Patreon, so that's why you're not going to hear about it. But I would say now I would not go anywhere near his fake power-grabbing ass. Now,
these are some strong words. The reason I wanted to show that clip is because it tells you, right? They were friends, right? I mean, he's been to his house. He would have called him one of his best friends in the hobby. So this isn't like some internet beef, like where you hear someone say something on a video and then you make a response video and you don't really know that person or what they're about or other things they've said. No. They had a legitimate relationship. So for David to come out and say these things, you know, some pretty bad stuff's going down behind the scenes. I mean, and you know, hats off to him for not wanting to say anything about it, right? Wanting to keep it quiet. But it just goes to show a lot of this stuff I've been saying, like this stuff does happen in the hobby. This next clip's a little longer, but I think it's important to hear. So
that Mr. Pratt ended up strong-arming the E4 forums away from the people who rightfully began ownership of them, including Mr. Norton, okay? And he governs it with the heaviest of fists. Do you know how many people have left E4 and its associated Discord because Mr. Pratt has chosen to insert himself in deals that had no verification, no reason for him to be involved, just to sabotage people. So, and I've talked to many people, it's not one. And when he threatens his libel BS, he can threaten whatever. You can threaten me, buddy, all you want, because truth is a firm defense for libel, and everybody knows what you're about and is learning what you're about. So again, the jealousies, he came on, he was the first person when I put out the videos on the pre-release right shoes that basically said, no, they can't be. They're not anything real. You come, guys, to my Patreon right now, which is the only place I have a way for you to watch me other than my once a month new social media post. That's a smart thing. I'm going to pull back. I'm not going to be out there. Things are really super negative. I can't do this anymore. Like the negativity. But I'll tell you what, if you guys become my Patreon once in a while and pay me to hear good stuff, I'll do it there. Yeah, that seems right. Anyways, it's all ridiculous. You don't need Patreons. You don't need any of it. It's all public knowledge information. If you really want to be one of those followers, and I'm going to talk about that when I get to rattle, you don't want to follow people. I learned 30 years ago, followers in life get nowhere. Be a leader. Form your own opinions. Grow your own intelligence. Be true to yourself, accountable, transparent, ethical, moral, non-judgmental, and you'll get so much further along, okay?
Guys, these are the kind of guys in the hobby you want to listen to, right? Just those lines right there. Have your own opinion. Be a leader. Don't be afraid to step out on your own, having original thoughts, right? You don't have to, even if you have friends in the hobby, Even if you respect others, you don't have to blindly agree with every single thing they put out and defend every single thing they put out. It's okay to disagree. We can have disagreements, right? You can think one thing, I can think another. Time will tell if we're right or wrong. Hey, we might both be right and wrong. Sometimes things might be down, sometimes things might be up. Sometimes things might play out differently than other people said. Guess what? It's okay. I'm so glad David said that because people need to hear this. It is okay to have original thoughts, to go against the grain, to not agree with a whole group of people or a friend group or other people that you like and respect. This is the kind of information that needs to get put out there. And then, yeah, just going back to, other things he said, it's just, he's letting people know everything that everyone else, like who's deep in the hobby, knew and has always known what goes on and still goes on and has gone on behind the scenes, but no one ever wants to talk about it, right? It's all a big secret. No one ever wants to talk about it. No one wants to step on anyone's toes. No one wants to get anyone upset. We all just want to step back and pretend it doesn't happen. All right, just a couple more clips here, guys. Let's get into this next one. It gets better.
My trophy cards from years ago, 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3 in the world, 6 in the world. I have every trophy card thanks to Mr. Dan Norton and lots of work from other people too. From 2004 all the way to 2023, I'm not missing one. Mr. Scott Pratt told me they would never be worth anything because no one would ever want them. I wonder if he remembers that or if he just says now he just kind of changed his mind or that's different.
Now remember, Scott and David have both been in the hobby a long, long time. Now, anyone that follows Scott, you're going to see that he's very pro trophy cards. However, David's telling a very different story about Scott saying that people would never want trophy cards. So at some point, David's right. At some point, he did change his mind on them and became very pro them. Now, this is just speculation, but could that be because he acquired a bunch of said trophy cards and owned them and then used his platform to pump the market and get other people interested in them and talk so favorably and how rare and scarce and how historical to the hobby they are and how you need to own them? That's just my speculation, but it is very odd how David's saying he didn't think anyone would want them, but then all of a sudden he owns a bunch of them now and he's probably sold a whole lot of them for a huge profit. So just saying. All right, guys, just a couple more here and we'll talk a little.
Mr. Pratt, who ended up writing to, here's what his final post to Maddie was. Your recent post was removed as it's libel. If you truly believe what you typed, you have been unfortunately misinformed. The migration of this site was one of the worst experiences of my life, and I had multiple longtime friends betray me. Yeah, you know what?
Did you know?
You, Mr. Big Guy with millions and millions of dollars of cards sitting up for sale against all these little people, they betrayed you, okay? Go wake up, get a good solid drink, see if you can look in a mirror and figure out how you still look at yourself, okay?
And see, this is like the tactic, right? As soon as people start, because I've always said it, I'll take the hate right now because I know eventually people are going to start to look outside the ones they're following and look outside the little groups or the little sites or the little niches in the hobby they're in and start to ask some questions, start to talk to others like David, like others in the hobby, and start to open their minds to other possibilities than the people they look up to being right and being, the sole truth bearers of the hobby. This is what happens when the people start getting called on their BS. Is they shut down. They said there's too much negativity. There's too much hate. That this is one of the worst thing ever happened. My best friends in the hobby are turning on me. It's like, no, your friends are trying to call you out on your BS, and you don't like to hear it, right? That's what honestly, it's what real friends do. Real friends call you on your BS. They don't let you continuously go down a road, trying to manipulate different things, trying to rule different forums, your page with an iron fist, and ban any type of language that you don't agree with and things like that. That's no way to be in any hobby. Like you should want as much discourse as possible. So yeah, this is the last clip, guys. This will kind of bring everything home. This is just great advice. Listen closely here. This isn't about anyone. This is just great advice basically to live by. Okay. So David really, brings it home hard here at the end.
One thing you realize, you guys have all lived long enough, again, even if you're 30 years old and you're watching, you guys have lived long enough to know how to look at and figure out if someone's a good person or a bad person or a middle person or a two-faced person or whatever. And what I tell you is, if you have to decide between something that Dan Norton with the pink hair, God love him. By the way, my hair is probably going to be pink for the next broadcast, so make sure to tune in. And that's not a joke. The dye has been bought and the lady's been hired. But that's not relevant to this, so let it go. If you have to decide between Dan's version of events or Scott Pratt's, sorry guys, it's too.
I'll let that go a little longer. Basically, yeah, like he's saying, like you can tell, this is kind of like a Bible verse, but you'll be able to tell people by their fruits, right? You'll be able to tell who the people who actually have your best interest are, who are actually out for the positivity of the hobby, the growth of the hobby, to see everyone do well. You'll be able to see that by their actions and by the people they are and how that plays out over the years, right? And vice versa, you'll see, right? You can't hide it forever. Eventually, little cracks start forming. You will see people's the true being that they are. The more time that goes on, the truth always comes out. Everything comes to the light. And just pay attention, right? You don't have to listen to David or me or anyone else about, the true nature of anyone in this hobby. Just pay attention, watch closely, right? And see what they're all about. You'll see if it's about, trying to make money and trying to manipulate markets and trying to, impose their wills or their views and trying to manipulate their community into, kind of making a closed group of all like-minded people and not letting any dissenting views in. And you'll be able to see very clearly, right? David and me, anyone out there, you don't need to convince anyone that you're a good person or that you have their best interest in mind or you have, your best intentions. You don't have to convince people of that. People will see it as time goes on, as things play out, what kind of person you really are. And so I just think all these clips, were great. Listen, the whole video, DJ Gigabyte's channel, if you're not subscribed, go give the guy a sub. DJ Gigabyte, he's been around. He was friends with Scott. I remember back in the day watching, I think I watched podcasts with him at Worlds. And it was like him, Charlie, Herlocker, and Scott. I've seen like podcasts of them three back in the day all together in person. Like they were friends. But here's the thing of DJ Gigabyte. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's going to know more about Pokemon than a lot of us are ever going to know in our entire lives. But he's not someone he's not like a household name. A lot of people aren't going to know about him because he's not a huge creator. He's not super active like in the whole like social media realm. It looks like he's trying to be now, but he's just a good source for a lot of information on a lot of the ins and outs of this hobby. So I guess him and David are doing podcasts now, or I don't know if David's on all of them, but yeah, definitely check out his channel and stay up to date because, if all of them are as good as this, I'm definitely gonna be checking out more of them. I didn't know about that they had this before now, but yeah, guys, if you can believe anything about like the history of this hobby, these two guys are two of the guys that you could trust with the knowledge, as well as others in this hobby. But yeah, I just thought it was it was a great podcast. Definitely watch if you have a chance. I thought those were great clips to pull out because it really just goes to show a lot of the things that I've talked about. And I never got as hard as David went with it. I always try to stick to, the actual, like, the data and the actual things people are saying. I don't ever try to attack anyone's character or anything, but it's just very interesting to see, a lot of the things that I get, attacked for bringing out. I'm so glad David and hopefully other people continue to come out of the woodwork and speak out because not as many people are going to go after people like David, right? People are going to go after some of these pillars of the community because guess what? One, they don't care about, if you come after them with, whatever followers you have online to come attack them on social media. Two, they don't need your money. And three, they've already got relationships and strong, long-lasting friendships in the hobby. So you're not going to destroy like their hobby life or their personal life. Like David's talk about it later on the podcast. He's a wealth advisor. He makes good money. He's got the largest Pokemon collection. He's got tons of money in that. He's married. He's got kids. He's got grandkids. He's got a great life. Like you can't screw with a guy like that. And I think the more people like that come out and speak up about some of the, uneasy things that a lot of people don't like to talk about, it's going to be good. It's going to be good for the hobby to have, real discourse, to have people speaking truth and people not afraid to, get off the fence and stop sitting on the fence and actually just talk about the reality of some of the things that have happened and are happening in this hobby so they can be fixed. And so people don't get steered the wrong direction and people don't get pulled in and sucked into these little niches and these little worlds and get fed a whole bunch of lies. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for all that, guys. I really wanted to share it and I wanted to do it in a live so I could actually, you know, kind of converse back and forth and get everyone else's opinions on this. So yeah, let me know in the chat. Let me know your opinions. We can talk about it a little bit. Because yeah, it's definitely good to talk about. Let's see who we all got in here. All right, Ponga, what's up, man? Nicola, everyone's using all the emojis. I like it. I like it. Leaf Green Goblin's in here. Scrappy Pat, Flip Flap. Oh, guys, another thing. I'm not gonna talk bad about other creators. I see people, you know, mentioning PK and Opossum or other people. Look, they can do their things. If they want to trash talk me for making this video or other videos, that's all within their power. I'm not gonna do that here. We're not gonna do it. I wanted to share that because a lot of the topics he discussed are things I've personally been attacked for bringing up. And so I just wanted to show that, hey, it's not just me. Even the people who have personal relationships, who knows what goes on behind the scenes, they're saying the same things. That's the reason I wanted to bring that up. Oh, Ponga, what's up? Hello, man. Oh, we got Terry Lake in here. It's going to get wild. Pokemon Wonder wishes everyone's having a good day. We are having a great day, Pokemon Wonder. Yeah, Rattle. People are talking about Rattle. I'm not going to get into Rattle. Look, guys, I don't know Rattle either. Obviously, I don't agree with all the content he does. Sure, he doesn't like me and agree with all the content I do. So be it. You know, Rattle's done good by calling out scammers in the past. Rattle's made questionable content. It is what it is. But, you know, David obviously doesn't like Rattle too much. Me, I'm indifferent. I met the guy, Collecticon, shook his hand, didn't talk to him much, but, you know, I have nothing against the guy. You know, I haven't had any bad experiences, so I'm just going to leave that at just indifferent. Ponga says, Uncle Dave is the man. Spoke on the phone with him, and he's legit as they come. Hey, that's what it seems like. He just seems like he keeps it real. I love hearing that. And the dude's in his 60s. He doesn't care about little drama stuff. He just wants to spread the truth. And that's why I love to hear. I don't mind the pink hair. Yeah, DJ Gigabyte's always dyeing his hair different colors over the years. I know he had green hair at one point. Nomix, a Pokemon heel in the hobby. What do you mean by that? Expound on that, Pokemon Fire. I want to hear you go a little deeper on that. This is going to be good. Finally calling out the Cabal leader. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Everyone's talking about grown men going at each other in a kid's card game. Yeah, I mean, how many more times we have to call this a kid's card game? I mean, it's so clearly the majority of the money spent in this hobby is by adults, guys. This is so far past a kid's card game. It hasn't been a kid's card game since the 90s and early 2000s. Let's be real. Alex, are you showing Rattle's response video next? Guys, I'm not even subscribed to Rattle. Didn't you know he had a response video? And no, I won't be watching that. I'm not going to dive that far into this whole thing. I just wanted, the only reason I wanted to show this video is because it's some of the exact things that I've said about, you know, in my videos in the past, and some of the exact arguments that I've got attacked for. And that's why I wanted to just share it because it sheds more light. Like eventually if enough people say the same things and people like David, eventually people will stop, you know, trying to deny, you know, what goes on behind the scenes in this hobby. Back in 99 Boom, other than cards, the Topps cards and Pokemon sticker packs were pretty big here in the UK. Were they popular in the US? No, they weren't. They were not popular back then. Womb Raider, I don't really understand what you're talking about in the chat, man. Wow, that dude had Dan under his head, LMAO. I don't know what you mean by that. Lodemir, I really don't understand how there can be such a baby drama around collecting and investing in Pokemon cards. It's supposed to be fun. Some people just love to be angry and happy, I guess. So it's not about drama like that. That's the angle everyone spins, right? It's, you know, it's kind of like a cop-out saying, oh, people are just in it for drama. Oh, Alex, you're trying to get clout. You're trying to get views and all this stuff. Guys, I get about the same amount of views, same amount of live viewers, same amount of everything, whether I talk about, things going on in the hobby or whether I just talk about the cards or the investments. It's not about that. It's really about calling out obvious. Sorry, I don't want to be accused of libel. In my opinion, what I felt were obvious manipulation tactics, right? Were obvious, things that where someone would acquire a large position in certain cards in a certain era or certain whatever, and then pump that, talk very favorably about this needs to be in your collection. This is a must-have for an investment on their channel to thousands of followers. And then even like behind the scenes saying that, like David was talking about, saying people don't want, these cards, then ending up owning trophy cards. It's just, those things need to be called out, or, people will eventually keep falling into that trap and getting pumped and dumped on and things like that. And then also it's just showing, I like to, expose things where people are not the same people on camera or to your face as they are behind the scenes, right? Or different conversations and different things happen behind the scenes. And also these communities where people will legitimately delete posts, say it's libel, ban you from the sites, ban you from their channels, won't let you live chat, won't let you, comment. And then people say, well, Alex, what's the big deal? Just go talk about your channel. That you can just go somewhere else. Here's the issue. New people finding the hobby, they find these channels. Okay. Let's say, 150, 200 people get into live chats. Let's see thousands of people watch the videos. What if, 100, 200, 300, 400 people are banned, right? You say, well, Alex, 400 people, big deal. Well, now it gives a hugely inaccurate view of what others think about every single topic that's brought up. And so people will see those and they'll say, oh yeah, this is what everyone in the hobby thinks. Everyone obviously agrees on that point. Well, no, all the people that have a different viewpoint, all the people that maybe have facts or data to back up their viewpoints, they've already been banned. They've already been shrugged off. Their posts have already been deleted, right? And so people get very warped views of reality, and it's detrimental to them. So it's not just about being mad and being dramatic and let's all, no. There actually can be good that comes out of calling things out. It doesn't all have to be negative and drama. And I think I keep things very overly positive here to the point where I get accused of being too positive. People tell me I need to be more negative. I need to, talk more realistic. Alex, you're not giving a realistic view of what is going to happen in the future. So trust me, I try to be as positive as possible. And I think it is a positive thing to call out things when you see them. They're all great. Every episode is great to listen to. Oh, that's awesome, Ponga. Yeah, definitely, guys. Make sure you support DJ Gigabyte. I subscribe to the podcast. They're a wealth of knowledge. Absolutely. Those guys are all, Mike also subscribed. Awesome to hear, guys. Great to hear. I'm happy. I hope they continue to do well and spread, just spread the knowledge, spread the information, air out everything that's going on behind the scenes and always has. And, the more, here's the thing, the more information, the better, right? The more things out in the open and stop and not behind paywalls and in group, private chats and private text messages and private discords, the more that's out in the open, the better it is for everyone. Basic Trainer's in here. Haven't seen him in a while. I can't be his favorite person, but I appreciate you being here, man. I've never had an issue with you. I know we probably have certain friends in the hobby that don't, or you do, that don't like me, but I'm glad you're in here, man. And guys, another thing is this goes to show that not everyone's in agreement on everything, right? This, it seems that like when I put out a video, it seems that like everyone's against me and I have the bad takes. And, if you kind of agree against like certain niches in this hobby, then you're just wrong and you're on the outs. This goes to show that, look, even at the tops of this hobby, they're even saying, hey, look, have free individual thought. Do not follow the crowd. Do not feel like you can't have your own ideas, because guess what? Big guys aren't always right? The largest groups aren't always right. What's Basic Trainer saying? Same old, I'm waiting for them to schedule Collecticon soon, I hope. Yeah, I hope to see you at one in the future, Basic Trainer. Don Harrington, always gifting memberships. Appreciate that, Don. Thanks for helping out with the memberships, and whoever got that, congrats on that. Let's see. People are talking about Rattle's response video. Alex could care less about the clout. He actually shows facts and advice is good. Yeah, guys, if I really cared about the clout, I mean, trust me, I know how to make, videos that get a lot of views, right? I could be all top 5, top 10 best investment videos. Buy this now. I could have all my thumbnails really catchy, really poppy. Trust me, if I wanted to just get views on YouTube, I know how to go about it. But I literally, it's definitely part of what I want. I definitely want my videos to get views. The more people that see them, the more people are gonna, get the information and continue to do better with their collecting and investing. But it's not like the sole reason I'm making content. If I want to do that, I can make a lot different content than Pokemon investing content. I'll tell you that right now. Alex is the only one that makes any sense in this hobby, bro. There's other people out there, I assure you, but I appreciate the support, man. Anywhere people are making a lot of money, there are big egos. Yeah, there's manipulation, and that's why it's important to call this out. It's not about drama. Everyone needs to stay in their lane. My 2 cents. Good advice. Good advice. How do you feel about Crown Zenith? Do you think overprinting will like Shining Fates? So many good cards. No, I don't think so. I mean, Hidden Fates got reprinted. It came back and did good. Champion's Path got reprinted. It came back and did good. Celebrations, did good. I think Shining Fates just got, it got reprinted, and it's just not that strong of a set. Same with Pokemon Go. It's just not that strong of a set. I think Crown Zenith is strong enough set to recover. Shining Legends got reprinted back in the day. Dropped it way down. It was sitting on store shelves. It recovered. So no, I think Crown Zenith can do well over time. The Walmart Pika Black Friday Crown Zenith boxes are great buys, especially with a 10% family discount. Nice. You got the 10% discount on top of that, Terry. Yeah, I saw those boxes. They do look pretty cool. They look pretty good. I think those boxes will. I mean, I don't know how well a big investment there are, but I mean, at those prices, they're good price open packs and stuff. I mean, they might do good down the road if Crown Zenith does good. I'm not telling anyone to into their bank accounts to stock up on them, but it might not be a bad pickup. What's the level of access to knowledge you think needs to be shared? I mean, I guess my question is what knowledge is so valuable that needs to be hidden or it needs to be paid for? Like, that's my question. At what point does the knowledge become that valuable? David, I mean, he's at the tops of this hobby, guys. I mean, he deals in $1 million cards. Right? He's got the largest collection. He's made deals with pretty much everyone you could think of in this hobby. I mean, he's got, personal relationships with pretty much every big name you can think of, right? Even he says these Patreons, they're not useful, right? That you can find the information yourself. There's no real, gigantic secretive information that you can't, find elsewhere, that you can't figure out yourself, that research can't be done. And so I mean, for me personally, I'm not against Patreons, right? Here's the one thing. Take any information, knowledge, whatever aside, Patreon is a way to support your favorite creators, your favorite, personalities, whatever it may be. Patreons can be used just for entertainment value, right? It doesn't have to be. I mean, I'd said myself, I'm not even opposed to having a Patreon at some point, but I wouldn't, not saying I'm going to, I'm just saying, but it would never be marketed as this is where the real information's hidden. This is where the real plays are. We're going to do deep dives and we're going to really go in depth, stuff that isn't shared on YouTube, stuff you can't find other places, stuff that I know about because I'm an expert in this hobby. No, but hey, I mean, Patreons are good for, again, entertainment value, for supporting your favorite creator, monetarily, because YouTube really doesn't pay much. They're a way to kind of get, when you pay for something, it's a way to have a lot of like-minded individuals that are actually, have skin in the game. So they're actually a little more invested, and there's less memeing and joking and BS that goes on. People, it's for people to really get down to taking, the hobby or taking the business side or taking, whatever it is in the hobby seriously. So that's a good, reason. It's just a good place to have, conversations to where they're not, like I said, all chopped up and all kind of, different memes and jokes and all that. So, I mean, I think there are great things for Patreon. And honestly, here's another thing. People are going to hate to hear this, but it is a good avenue for those deep dive type videos. And Alex, and then you'll say, well, Alex, just put those on YouTube. Here's the issue. They don't do well on YouTube. PSA videos don't do well on YouTube. Deep dive spreadsheet videos don't do that well on YouTube. Hour plus long videos, unless they're lives, and they're, we're talking about certain topics, they don't do well on YouTube. So a lot of those deep dive grindy type videos, if you put too many of those on your YouTube channel, it'll actually start to take your videos and your channel out of favor with YouTube and the algorithm, and it'll push your videos less, and it really hurts your whole channel. So there's a bunch of reasons for a Patreon. So I'm not against anyone having a Patreon. I know David, it seems like, is. So, but again, look at that. We may disagree on things. Oh my gosh, call everyone, make videos. People have disagreements in the hobby. It's a big deal. But yeah, I mean, I'm just against the whole, the special information that's only shared, behind paywalls. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't think there's that much special stuff going on that you can't just find out talking to people or watching YouTube. Oh, that's the other thing. Sorry. And another thing, like, you can find all the information out there, right? And this isn't just for Pokemon, whether it be for a business or anything, but putting it behind a paywall and getting it all in chronological order. Like, hey, here's how you start a business from start to finish. Hey, here's how you start in the hobby, start to finish. Here's how you start buying singles and flipping and grading cards, start to finish. Here's how you do this, start to finish, and like laying it all out chronologically for people, having it all organized, having every step away, having like the exact links and the exact things to use, the exact selling tools. Like, you can make value in a Patreon. So that's why I'm just not 100% against it, right? If you sell booster boxes for $100 on eBay, how much do you net after fees? I've heard fees are like 10 to 15%. They're like high 13% into like lower percentage, depending on what kind of deals you have with eBay. But yeah, I mean, 15 probably after shipping. After shipping costs, probably about 15%. Probably more than 15, because on a $100 box, yeah, you're probably looking at like 20%. Shipping's gonna be about $8. Yeah, so you're probably gonna net about 80, maybe less, like $78, $79 on a boost, selling for $100 on eBay. What do you think about Brilliant Stars? I think it's got one of the strongest, probably the strongest trainer gallery, in my opinion, in all of Sword and Shield. And at its current cost, I think it's a great. I still think Brilliant Stars, because it's already 2 years old, I think it's a great play. Alex, with the downturn in Cosmic Eclipse singles, do you think booster boxes will drop? I don't think so. I think the sealed booster boxes are already scarce enough to where there's just not enough supply out there, and the value of the booster box is going to continue to carry that higher. And it's already become separated from the cost of the singles at this point. So I mean, will it have, a dips? Yeah, everything's going to have ups and downs, but is it going to crash like singles? No, I doubt it's going to see a 20, 30% fall. Very strongly doubt that. Look at the high price sealed product with cards mostly $1, maybe a handful at 50. Yeah, I mean, guys, you can go back and look at tons of sets, Black and White, XY, Sun and Moon. I mean, I told you, like, Darkness Blaze, talk about it all the time. Darkness Blaze, when it was 140 bucks, it's dropped now. Literally, you could have graded the Charizard, the best hit in the set, and the other, I forget what the other best hit is, but literally the two top hits in the set, I looked them up at PSA 10s. You could have bought both of those in PSA 10s for less than the box cost. Meaning, if you pull the two best hits out of one box, so you actually you gambled, you gambled right, you hit them both, you graded them both with PSA, which is a gamble pulling PSA 10 copies out of a box in general, graded them both a 10, got them back, you wouldn't have even surpassed the box price even with two PSA 10 copies after PSA grading fees. So yeah, the singles don't always have bearing on what the box prices are. Careful, Alex, you might get taken out. Yeah, I know, I've been told that a lot recently. Guess what? I don't care. You can't take me out. I don't want to be a part of the stupid club. I just want to make my videos. I'm going to sell my cards. I'm going to invest in my product. I'm basically just doing everything I used to do in the shadows, not on YouTube. And I'm, telling people about what I do on YouTube. And if that means I'm not part of the clubs and I'm not part of the dinners and the secret, discords and the text chains and all that, so be it. I don't need to be. It's not that big of a deal. Much like kind of like David said, I got a good life, right? I got an awesome wife. I got friends. I got hobbies that I enjoy. Pokemon doesn't engulf my entire life. And so maybe that's what people in this hobby hate, that like you can't really get to me, trying to like bring me down with Pokemon related things. I don't care. I just don't care enough. I care when I see people get taken advantage of. I care when I see people getting manipulated. I care when people are being two-faced, right? Cool to your face, cool in person, cool on screen, but then different behind your back. I care about all those things. I will say I care about those things. But what people think of me in this hobby, hey, if you don't like me, this is what it is. If that means I'm not a part of things, so what? I hear you, Alex. Maybe I'm wrong, but does some PokeTubers, even bigger ones, really have that kind of power to shape the market? Honest question. I'm really curious in opinion. Absolutely. Are you serious? You can't. You got to be joking, right? Here's the thing. I'll do a video on this at some point. I'll break down the numbers. Okay. If you break down the numbers, right, of the 9 billion cards, all right, and then you take that 9 billion, okay, and you separate it through the 5 or 6 different sets they release every year, right? And then you have to remember those cards are probably counting code cards. They're probably counting energies, which remember a pack of energies gets put in every single ETB, PC ETB. It's counting theme decks. It's counting all the promos they release and all the, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of copies they print of those. Okay. So take all those out. Now divide it by the 6 sets, right? Now divide it by all the different products, all the different cards. There's not an infinite amount of cards. So if you have multiple different content creators all pushing, right, the same cards or the same products, yes, they can run out. Yes, those prices can rise drastically. So yeah, I 100% think the market can be manipulated. And here's the thing, not as much now with modern, but back when I got in the hobby, 2016, right, when I really started getting involved, started collecting in 2015 again, but 16 is when I really started diving in and get involved in YouTube and modern and stuff again. The cards that were being pumped the most back then weren't modern, right? It was the vintage. It was older, rarer, minter, better, SM Pratt's phrase, right? Those were the things that were being pumped. Those don't have infinite amount like modern seems to, right? They have 100, 300 pop reports on PSA 10, PSA 9s, right? Especially when you get into like older WotC and mid-era, they don't have tons of supply. So when content creators would come on and pump certain cards in certain eras, they would sell out like that. When you have tens of thousands of people listening to your videos and there's only a few hundred or something available or 100 or something available, you watch how fast prices skyrocket. You could manipulate, especially back then, you could manipulate markets easily. And then when you get up to the higher end stuff, the trophies and the world's promos and, all that stuff, it's lights out. So yeah, I mean, Lodemir, 100% markets were manipulated very heavily back then. Single prices of cards can only positively impact sealed. For example, Moonbreon being worth more raw than sealed boxes, Evolving Skies should be an indicator that most of the box is worth more. I mean, yes and no, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. What are your specific CPAs for cards? In your experience, are they more expensive than other CPA? Have a modest 5-figure collection and trying to figure out legit when going to sell or reinvest. CPAs cost. I'm drawing a blank on the CPA. What do you mean CPA? I'm always thinking like certified public accountant in my head. What metric are you talking about? Go ahead and clarify that, and I'll answer it for you. Mason's in the house. Alex, do you think the pre-release Raichu should be graded? Sure, why not? It's a legitimate Pokemon card. Here's my opinions, okay? Anything that ever came out of that WotC printing press or a Nintendo Now printing press is a legitimate Pokemon card and should be graded as a legitimate Pokemon card. I don't care what kind of back it had. I don't care what kind of stamp it had, or 4 position only, 4 test print. I don't care. If it was printed for any reason, the minute it came out of that printing press, it was a legitimate card. That's how I feel about it. Any booster box looking to buy for your own collection? If money rarity were not an issue, legendary collection box would be my pick. Oh, heck yeah. Legendary collection would be amazing. I mean, obviously I'm boring. I'd go first edition base first if money was an issue, because, you know, I just would love to have the first. But yeah, legendary collection's up there real high. Team Rocket Returns up there really high on the list. Neo Destiny's up there on the list, right? A lot of those iconic boxes, if money was not an issue. Now, again, here's the thing. Everyone's going to say, Alex, oh my gosh, you like the vintage. I never said that those are the best investments, right? I don't think moving into a $50,000 box is going to be a good investment, because I don't think that box is going to be worth $100,000 by the time I can buy $50,000 worth of a modern box. I think that those modern boxes will go from 100 to 200 a lot faster than that box will go from 50 to 100K. So remember, collection, money not an issue stuff, different than investment. Just remember that. Just remember. Uh-oh, people calling out the paywalls. I'm not gonna talk about that. Brokemon cards. People who sell success plans know that 99% of people who pay for their stuff won't do anything with it. Why would you give your success plan away to potential competitors? I will speak on that. So that is a huge fallacy in thinking. Here's the thing. It is okay. I can speak from experience, right? It is a million times easier, right? For, you know, because I came from multiple service-based businesses that I started. It is infinitely easier for me to go teach anyone out there to go make a living for themselves with a lawn care company, or a power washing home cleaning company, or a detailing ceramic coating company. Like, I can easily show you how to make between, I don't know, $50,000 to $100,000 a year in a service-based business working for yourself. Now, bringing a business like that from just you, or maybe you and another employee, maybe you and a few employees, up to a large-scale $1 million plus a year company, all kinds of crews, you know, office employees, all that is much harder than it would be for me to sell like a course and teach a bunch of people how to run their own business and be successful. And so the same thing goes for all those online courses. Look, there's definitely scams out there, but everything that's an online course teaching someone, it's not a scam, right? So you can legitimately teach people how to do something, but growing to enough scale to make more money, right, than teaching people to be successful, it's not always easier, right? It's not always easier to go make $1 million, $10 million growing whatever skill or business you've developed than it is teaching, you know, charging $100 and teaching, 10,000, and teaching 10,000 people how to do the same, how to get to your level, right? It's easy to teach 10,000 people to make 75 grand a year. It's easier to do that than it is to go make, you know, $1 million a year, right? It's just, so I understand where you're coming from. Like, a lot of scam artists came about when, you know, a lot of courses were being sold. But guys, no, I don't agree with everyone selling a success plan is trying to like prey on people. Yeah, of course, 99% of people aren't going to do it. That's because 99% of people don't have the work ethic. They're not going to put in the time. They're not going to put in the effort, right? They're not going to take the risks that need to be taken. That's not on the person creating those courses or creating, you know, that training, you know, that they're a scammer or that it didn't work. Because guess what? If that 1% of people, 5%, 10% of people were successful and it did work for them, then that means the training works. That means the plan, whatever it is, that means it does work. It's the same thing in life. It's like, oh, well, this guy, you know, started from the bottom of the company and worked his way to become CEO. These other 100 people all started the same company at the same time. And they never got above, you know, middle management. That means the whole thing doesn't work. No, it just means that, you know, not everyone's going to have the same success levels as everyone else, because not everyone puts in the same effort, takes the same risks and all that. So the reason I wanted to say that is that that gets thrown around so much about online scams. Not everything's a scam, guys. Teaching someone how to do something is not a scam. It's what we're done with it. I mean, people do that. It's what we do in schools all throughout, you know, grade school, middle school, high school, college. You're taught how to do something, right? Personally, my strategy is to wait for a set to start going up, as I don't want my money just sitting, and to go after booster boxes, the more popular sets, so liquidity isn't an issue. Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, definitely. Getting in at the bottoms, it's good for, you know, good entry point, but sometimes when things are hitting, you know, in their bottoms, they stay there a while, they can remain stagnant, and you might have dead money sitting there for a long period of time. Whereas once you see supply start to run out and things start to rise after a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years, you might have to get in a little higher prices, but your money will be more active. So yeah, there's definitely two different routes to take there. If you have a buyer on eBay claiming the package didn't come, even though it says delivered on tracking, what do you do dealing with this for the first time right now? First of all, it's awful, and I'm sorry you're dealing with that. One, I really hope you have an honest buyer and they're not lying. Two, I've only had this happen one time to me, and luckily they checked with their neighbors, and one of their neighbors got their package. Unfortunately, we live in a day and age where there are package thieves who steal things off people's porches and things like that. And there are dishonest people out there. I found they are few and far between in this hobby, but yeah, there's dishonest people who will say they didn't get it. Deal with the buyer first, you know, to see if they can, you know, check with their neighbors, see if they can give it more time. Maybe USPS was just off, or whoever you shipped with. And then other than that, I honestly don't know the next steps because I never went through it. I wish I could give you some more. If anyone in the chat has been through it, help Cashmere Fire out. I've never been down that road far enough. Sorry. Plenty of channels have playlists that map out how to start an eBay store or things. Similarly, hiding that behind a paywall is a big L. I mean, this is what it is, you know. Here's the other thing, right? Different people learn, you know, different paces from others better than they learn from others, right? So it's like, I mean, that sounded kind of jumbled, but you know, obviously some people learn by reading and like doing it themselves. Some people learn by listening, taking notes. Some people learn by doing. Some people will learn better listening to one person's style of teaching better than someone else's style of teaching, right? There's people that literally will, you know, can't pass a class in college. They'll drop it. They'll take that same class from a different professor, and they'll be able to, you know, it'll click. They learn better. So yeah, I mean, just because you can find something free on YouTube doesn't necessarily mean it's laid out in a way or it's digestible or that, you know, someone can learn from that person as good as they can learn from someone else or at the speed they can learn from someone else if it was done, you know, maybe better. So like, guys, look, this is coming from someone. I don't have any courses. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have anything to sell you besides, packs for a pack breaks that I do. Or like my cards that I have, my cards and stuff I have on eBay or TCG Player. Other than that, this is coming from someone that I don't have the information to sell you. So I'm speaking candidly, I'm speaking honestly. I don't think all Patreons and all paywalls and all courses are bad. I just don't. I think, you know, painting everything in a bad picture is going too far. It's about 13%. Okay, yeah, answer that question. Do you think with the gloom look on the overall U.S. economy that we could see a lot of product hit the market good prices? Guys, I can't. Does anyone even like hear the things they say? Does anyone look around and see like how things are really going before they say these things? I did a video yesterday or the day before yesterday, I think, showing literally the sales, right, on Pokemon are higher than they've ever been. Way higher than last year at this time. Way higher than this 30-day period last year. It's 30-day period. There's, you know, more sales happening, higher average sale, more total dollar amount. So then we're talking about the economy. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and share the screen. So here's the market, right? Here's the last 5 years of the Dow Jones. Here's the max of the Dow Jones. It's back up to near its all-time highs, right? We can go look at the S&P. It's the same thing. Go check your 401ks if you have any. Go check your Roth IRAs and IRAs. How are those doing, right? Look at the S&P, near its all-time highs. People are still buying houses. They don't have enough inventory, right? If you focus on negative, all you're going to see is negative. If you look at the broad picture, you'll see positive sides. People say, well, interest rates are going up. They're too high. Houses are too expensive. Well, then why do they continue to sell every day? And why is there no supply on the market? Because they keep selling too fast, right? Oh, everything's down, everything's crashing. Well, then why are the S&P and Dow Jones hitting new highs? Why are companies' earnings, right? If you're paying attention to earnings in the stock market, why do all these companies' earnings, Target just came out, I think today, way better than it was supposed to be. Target's up like 17%, or at least it was. Why are all the earnings beating the earnings that they estimated, right? Why do you look around and all these things are going good, but then all you're saying is, what do you think about the bad stuff? I don't know about the bad stuff. Everything I see is doing good. I mean, I just had to ship out 15 orders yesterday, 12 more orders today. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. All I see are green lights. I'm not seeing the reds. So, obviously there's some people struggling. I'm not saying no one's struggling. My heart goes out to those that are. But the broad economy as a whole, there's just too much good to look at. I showed not like a month ago, 2 months ago, maybe I showed how, we hear about, debt being an all-time high. Credit card debt's an all-time high, but guess what? Delinquencies are at near their all-time lows. Car repossessions are near all-time lows. What else? They're saying savings accounts, right, are at their all-time, like going down lower than they've been in however many years. But at the same time, 401ks, we saw more 401k millionaires. People become millionaires in their 401ks this year. It rose by like something X%. There's like more positive than bad, but when you focus on the bad, it seems like everything's negative. So man, I'm not on board. Sorry, Pokey Department Store. I'm not on board with the whole economy doing bad and everything is gonna, people are gonna like blow out all their collections. So maybe we'll see deals going into the holiday season, people trying to get things off their books and trying to make a little extra money going into Christmas time and into next year. I just don't see things crashing like other people do. I'm sorry. I'm not on that page. Alex, what do you think of the Tiffany company collaboration with Pokemon jewelry? I'm going to leave that to all the other channels. I see a lot of people talking about that. That's great content for them. I really don't care. I don't have any plans of buying Tiffany jewelry. I don't think average people in this hobby can afford $28,000 or whatever it costs. So, I mean, it's not even on my radar. My thoughts are I don't have any thoughts. My thoughts are it can only help the hobby. It can only draw more eyes to the hobby. Jewelry people and high-end jewelry, like they'll be asking what that is, and maybe it'll draw more money to the hobby. So it can only affect the hobby positively. That's my thoughts. Some people looks like they're helping out that guy with the eBay stuff. Thanks chat for helping him out. Here's the thing, guys. I've sold over 1,000 items now on eBay. Hundreds on TCG Player. I've never had that issue. So it's definitely few and far between, but I am sorry it happens. I don't think it's detrimental to the hobby to release sets quickly and consistently. It will definitely bring sealed single prices down, but that's a good thing for anyone not flipping. But it's not a good thing too, though. I mean, if you don't have time to because think about it, people only have a limited amount of money. And if you don't have enough time to keep getting paychecks and keep buying those boxes and be able to open up as many packs as you want and collect the entire sets for collectors or for the players to have time to really, be able to, get the funds to trick out their decks or whatever, when things come too fast, it hurts everyone, not just investors, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of on the opposite side on that one. I appreciate your opinion, though. Honestly, every trainer gallery is incredible. They have 30 cards that look like alt arts. 11 to 12 are easy to pull. And 18, 19 that aren't quite as hard to pull. Amazing feature. I agree. The Galarian gallery from Crown Zenith is just on a whole nother level, too. Silver lining. I'm so deep in Silver Tempest investments. Got a bunch of cases for 580. Opinion on how this set will perform. I mean, at 580, I think you're safe. Like how it will perform. We just gotta let the reprints dry up. I think all the alt art sets are going to perform well long term. Like I said, if you're looking for quick cash, right? Buy lots, buy collections. break them down, flip the singles, grade the mint ones, flip the graded cards. That's how you're going to make money in this hobby. If you're trying to be an investor, you need to have a long-term mindset. What I've told people in the past, I like, this is, look, we're not going to get into this conversation. I try to look at what the S&P does, right? On average, the S&P doubles your money every 7 years. That's with compounding interest, okay? So you have to ask yourself, do I think these cases will be worth more than $1,160 in 7 years' time? I personally think all of these boxes are going to be, worth more than $200-300 in 7 years' time when it comes to the alt art sets. So it's an easy decision for me of why I'm loading up on them. You have to make that decision for yourself. Am I saying they're going to get there? Well, it's my opinion. I'm not guaranteeing anything. Maybe something happens in the world. Pokemon hobby crashes. I don't know. But barring any crazy events, yeah, I think looking at how every other set has performed ever in history, and not just Pokemon, the other TCGs, booster boxes, sealed product usually does well over time, over long periods of time, not when you try and compare the last 1, 2, maybe 3 years, right? It's got to be a long period of time to get that growth, because Pokemon investments don't move linear, right? It's not like 10% a year. They don't move a lot the first couple of years, right? And then you'll see gigantic upticks, right? And usually year 3, 4, and 5. And then usually things will plateau, maybe drop a little and until its next rise. So you got to wait to see those rises. The market decides whether a YouTuber promotes it or not. So, John Z, you probably I don't know if you've been around the hobby a long time. I will personally confirm, at least back before the boom, there were tons of cards promoted by a lot of these earlier YouTubers, a lot of products promoted that were nowhere near in favor. The market hadn't moved on them. They promoted these cards when they weren't moving at all, when they weren't in anyone's sites. And their word alone, it was very clearly, you could easily see after the videos were made and what the market did after, very clearly pumped items. So maybe nowadays with like a lot of the market channels, like even with me, we talk about things that are moving or have moved, but that was not the case back in the day. I can promise you that. And it's still not the case in times today, right? Folks! Alejandro's here, showing support, late to the party. No problem, Alejandro. Thanks for being here as always, my man. Didn't Pokemon use mass scarcity on Evolving Skies last year to flush the rest of the product out of retail stores? Mass scarcity? What do you mean by mass scarcity? They didn't really, Evolving Skies released a ton of boxes and it dropped them down to back down to like 117 a box. I think I made a video about them. They dumped a lot of product in the market. The ETBs, kept showing up on shelves for a while. I don't know, iFOMO. Maybe let me know a little more what you're talking about. See ya, games. Alex, what's up, chat? What's up, man? Whoa, me and Alex agreeing? Mason, stop it. Me and you agree a lot more than you think. Hell is frozen over. What about cards cut from sheets? Should those be graded as well? Yeah, so I actually, I'm not going to talk about it, but I know a friend of mine I know who, with David, they went and they got their, some uncut sheets cut. And I know a lot of people were up in arms about that. But guys, if they're legitimately, right, legitimate sheets that were printed, like I said, anything that comes out of that printer at Wizards of the Coast back in the day or Pokemon now, at that moment, it becomes a legitimate Pokemon card. Now, if they decided they didn't cut that sheet and someone bought it, they're still legitimate cards. So if you go cut them, yeah, I'm 100% in favor of that. So absolutely, Mason. But dude, Mason, come on, we agree on a ton of stuff. I think you made one video where you didn't think that modern Pokemon was a good investment. I disagreed with it. I think that was the only thing that we ever disagreed on. We never had issues with each other. I know people try to paint, me as enemies with everyone, but I'm not, and people know I'm not. And here's the other part. It's the funny part. People want to make dramatic things happen. They want to create enemies. Guess what? if I disagree with someone, it doesn't mean I'm against them or I'm their enemy. I disagree with one thing they said. Raise your hand if you don't have a significant other, friends, parents, I don't know, teammates, anything that you don't have disagreements and you guys don't argue about. That would be the most ridiculous life, to have everyone in your life and you all agree on everything. And then the minute you disagree with them on something, I'm leaving, not being friends with you no more. You're all about drama. That's kind of what this hobby's become. Like, guys, if I make a video talking about how I disagree with what someone said, I don't dislike the person. I just disagree with one of their points, and they may disagree with me, and so be it. Big deal. Move on. We're supposed to have differing opinions. It's life. If we can grade expired phone cards, the sky is the limit. Ain't that the truth? I don't own any Silver Tempest or Brilliant Stars. Which one I buy, and should I just stock up more on Chilling Reign or Fusion Strike? I mean, Silver Tempest at these low prices, still not a bad deal. Brilliant Stars being cheaper than Chilling Reign or Fusion Strike, I think it's on par with a lot of those sets. For me, okay, my opinion here, I would buy Brilliant Stars and Silver Tempest. The reason is I'd like to be diversified more. Putting all your eggs in one basket can come back to haunt you, or it can, it can make you rich, right? But I would rather be diversified because it's so hard to know how the market is going to value things in the future and what sets are going to take off and what kind of rhetoric, starts on YouTube or in social media. You just never know, right? Any one of those sets could be the one that goes to the moon. You just don't know. And so I'd rather have exposure to all of them. But I don't think you can go wrong with any of those sets. Or maybe they're all scams. I'm sure I was taking those words out of context, Brokemon, but it just worked out so perfect. Sorry about that, man. Can Gengar VMAX Altart beat the price of Umbreon VMAX Altart someday? I really hope so, because I own a PSA 10 of Gengar and I don't own a PSA 10 of Umbreon. So I sure hope so. Yeah, people don't magically become your competitor because you teach them. That's a great point. Okay, I've got asked before, hey, Alex, why do you promote other businesses on your channel? Why do you promote Low Popping? Why do you promote, Kanto Shark? Why do you promote Shag Sports Cards? Because even though we may be competitors in some ways, we all have very different inventories. So cards that you might like, I might have, they might have, Shag's got a lot better deals on sealed product. I don't really sell sealed product, especially when it's new. So it's like, not everyone's your competitor. Like, you can be someone's competitor and not their competitor at the same time on whether it be this day or that day, what someone's looking for, today or tomorrow. So yeah, absolutely. Not just because you teach them how to do something, it doesn't mean they're going to be your competitor. I may teach, if I made, a video teaching someone like how to do what I do, they may, learn all that and then say, well, this seems like the best part about what you do. I'm going to really focus in on just do that. They might just go off on the, this side of the hobby. Well, I, end up going off more on this side of the hobby. This person streams and this person wants to sell just singles and slabs. And this person wants to get this distribution and get a physical shop and sell sealed product. And this person wants to really focus on playable cards. And you can go a million different directions. Teach a man how to fish and he steals the fish. I don't think that always happens, does it? There's a lot of lakes and rivers and oceans out there to fish in. Hit the like button unless you're a hater. Even then, hit the like button. Oh, man. If the tracking shows delivered, that's about the eBay thing. If the tracking shows delivered, your job is to get the tracking to say delivered. Ponga would know. Ponga would know. A lot of people helping out with that eBay thing. I know I'm a little bit back in the chat, so thanks everyone for helping him out. Shag Sports Cards in the house. What's up, my man? He's saying what's up to Don. Everyone's having a good time. Love to see it. What's up, bro? I'm picking up 3 ETBs for $30 each and a UPC for $75. Well, UPC for $75, that sounds incredible. Depending on the 3 ETBs, could be good. My main job is construction. We're having our best year in 28 plus years. Man, the economy seems to be struggling, huh? Look, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, personal friend, you know, and he's a guy that he keeps up, you know, with all the news, listens to talk radio and podcasts about, you know, politics and everything going on in the world. And, you know, I always have to try to like bring him back down to earth. I literally, I play the positive person even in my real life. It's not just a character I play for YouTube. And here's what I told him. Look, I said, you know, especially with us, you know, I'm in my 30s. I said, we've been around now. We've been at least adults or at least like in our teens for tons of different presidents now, whether they be conservative or liberal, Democrat, Republican. We've been through recessions. We've been through, you know, ups and downs in the market, ups and downs in the economy, right? We've been through multiple wars and you know, all these different things. We've been through a pandemic. And I said, through everything, what normally happens? Not too much. Now, other than the pandemic, things, you know, really got shooken up. But other than that little, you know, time, life doesn't ever really change that much, right? You get up, you do your daily routines, right? You go about your life. You know, you don't agree with some things going on in the country. You do agree with some things going on in the country, right? Depending on who's in office, you might pay a little more taxes. You might pay a little less taxes. You might pay a little more for your daily goods. You might pay a little less. But I said, but you know what? You know what's probably going to happen? Honestly, things are probably going to stay pretty status quo no matter who's in office. And usually, you know, as time goes on, yep, things are going to get a little harder. You're going to end up paying a little more for things as time goes on. But overall, your day-to-day life is going to stay pretty much as usual, unless, you know, you make some big changes. But things get really overblown in life, guys. Try to just see the positives. Enjoy your life. Try not to, you know, pay too much attention to the negatives, because all that's going to do is tear you down, you know, negative rabbit holes. And when you really look back at the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, how much has your life really changed? Think about it. Do you think a smaller percentage of people buying Pokemon, but that percentage of people is spending a lot of money? The classic wealth isn't created in bull market saying. I don't know. I really don't know. I can say the majority of people that I've talked to in this hobby all have money. They all make good money. They all, you know, invest or collect with a lot of money. They make, you know, large moves, large purchases. But I'm constantly told the average collectors in this hobby or the average investors don't have any money. They're putting everything on credit cards. They're living paycheck to paycheck. I personally haven't seen that, but maybe it is. Bullish Alex is best, Alex. Have I ever been anything other than that? Alex, okay. Now when you throw numbers at me, I get it. But what I also get from this is that people don't do their own research. They're just following instructions from a YouTube guy. Well, I hope not. I've never told people or wanted people to do that. I've always said, do your own research. I've always said, do your own due diligence. Everything I show is public data. You can go look into it yourself. You know, like I talked about earlier, I was in the shadows, right? I was watching a lot of YouTube. I was on online forums. I was learning a ton of knowledge about Pokemon. I was putting my own, you know, my own money to work, whether it be collecting or investing in this stuff since 2015. Okay. Did all of that. I didn't start a channel till last year, like not even 2 years ago. So all I'm really doing is talking about the things that I've always done in the shadows and talking about all the things that I used to do that I still do, all the things I look for, talking about how I invest, how I collect, all the market movements, the market trends. All I'm doing is talking about that on camera, right? Again, they're my opinions. They're how I see things. Now, I use very real numbers and data to back up a lot of those opinions. But at the end of the day, absolutely, always do your own research. Always look into things yourself. I'm a huge proponent of that. Gotta go. Rock is on Joe Rogan. Hey, I'm not arguing with that. I'm not trying to outdo Rock and Joe Rogan. I understand. Thanks for being here, Broken Mountain Cards. Mike said, I agree with what you're saying on the economy. Only concern is long-term, the U.S. government debt at some point that does have to be consequences. Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? Who knows what they're going to come up with, right? I mean, we're always told Social Security is going to run out and they find some way to make it last. Like, guys, most of the big news articles, the big headlines, they're just a big game, right? It's a big game for the government to make all these, little plays and ways for all the politicians on both sides to line their pockets more. Just don't buy into it too deeply, right? Usually, everyday life for most everyday people is going to remain pretty close to the same. Is it going to get a little harder as time goes on? Probably. Are we, going to have to pay a little more for things? Probably. Is the middle class going to continue to shrink? Yep, probably. But overall, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, I'm sure life's going to look very similar to the way it does now. Your cereal really pops out. Hey, appreciate that. Yeah, I'm still kind of playing around with the background. I want to kind of get some more stuff going on. I'll be honest, it didn't work out the way I wanted. I wanted to have more space. I wanted to have some things going on, but there's just not enough room because I need an office space to work at, and I wanted to create a studio. But so I'm trying my best here, but I'm going to keep doing my best to make it look a little better as time goes on. I just wanted to throw some stuff up there to try and get videos going, but I definitely got some things in mind to start sprucing things up. I was looking on the positive side to pick up positions. Hey, always two sides of the coin, right? I like it. Been in and out of the hobby since 2016. You're one of the most accurate PokeTubers out right now with investing, collecting. Keep it up. TCG Baptist. Hey, I really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Thanks for the support. Did y'all see the Pokemon show coming out on Netflix? Looks hella cute. I haven't seen that. I know I saw someone share it, I think, in the Discord, but I haven't looked into it much. Hey, again, any exposure is good exposure for Pokemon. It's just going to continue to help grow this hobby, bring more new eyes in. So that's what we want. Economy only depends on if rate will keep going up or not. The interest rates? Yeah, I mean, that definitely affects a lot of things. Connor said, do you have a rule of thumb when it comes to timing when you sell? Example, selling half a case when the price is double to lock in your initial investment with the rest being profit? Absolutely. So that's what I did with Celebration GPCs. I used to own 20 of them. I'm down to just over a case, like 5 or 6 of them. I can't remember. I have like 5 or 6 left. So yeah, I still left a huge portion of them when they got in the 400s, when they got near $400 a box. And not this time, but like when they got the 400s the first time and they fell back down because yeah, I mean, that's how I like to invest. That's how I feel comfortable. So how I feel comfortable investing, I've talked about it before. And it doesn't matter how much you buy. Now, the more you buy, the easier it is, obviously. But I usually like to buy at least like a couple cases of each set, right? So if you buy 2 cases of each set at $600 a case, right? Usually you can get an under that, but let's just take it good or even number. $600 a case, you got $1,200 in the product. If that box goes to 200, 250, right? You can hold, you can keep holding, right? You can be a long-term holder. But what I usually like to do is, if let's say it's $250 a box, right? You got 12 boxes. Okay. So each case now is worth $1,500. You got $3,000 there. You're only in $1,200, remember. Well, I can sell off one of those whole cases for $1,500, eat the fees, eat the shipping, still come out with a little profit and get my entire investment back. Then I can let that other case sit on the shelf. No risk, 0 risk. I have 0 cost basis in that item now, and I let that grow long-term. I don't touch it. So that's what I like to do with items. I usually like to buy enough to where when prices do rise, I can get out. Now, everyone's going to ask me, well, how much does it have to rise? What percentage? It's always different. I go by feeling. I can't give you an exact math equation or dollar amount or percentage gain. I really do it on feeling. Some items, if I believe in the set and I believe in the market, I'll hold a little longer. Other items, if I see them really plateau out and I look at the set, and I'm like, I don't really think it's that strong. Kind of like Sword and Shield base or Rebel Clash. I don't think it's that strong. I don't know why. Maybe I'll let these go, just hold some for the long term. So it really just depends. But yeah, I'm a big proponent of when things rise, whether it be single cards, slabs, sealed product. I'm a big proponent of getting multiple of something. And then when you do see those gains, realizing those gains, taking the money off the table and holding the rest long term at 0 cost basis. Or if you can't get to 0, at least a very low cost basis where it's almost impossible to lose. Kind of like, if you buy, let's say you buy 5 cards, right? and you pay $20 a piece, $100, and you grade them all with PSA, you know, $15 a piece. Now you have 5 cards, you're in 75. So you're in that all those cards $175, right? Let's say in PSA 10 they sell for, you know, $60. Well, you can, you know, sell 3 or 4 of those cards, right? Get all your money back, right? You know, whatever, PSA 9, PSA 10, whatever you get, right? But, you know, you can sell enough of those cards to recoup all your money or most of your money. You can put the other cards away in your collection and build your collection for free or at a hugely discounted cost basis than what it would cost to buy those cards raw off the market. And same thing if you want to just buy, you know, raw cards or buy raw slabs. You know, you want to buy a bunch when they're low, when things rise, sell off a few, keep a few. Even if it doesn't get all your money back, it's like a very discounted cost basis, and it just takes all that risk. It takes all those nerves off the table. So that way, when you have these market fluctuations, you know, up 30, down 30%, you don't get freaked out. It's all about keeping a level head with investing, right? And taking the stress, taking the risk off the table as much as you can. Alex, on a $700 budget, what would be some quick flip plays? Quick plays. I can't give any specifics, right? Off the top of my head. Here's what I'll tell you. Go to TCG Player, right? You can go look up all the sets, whether it be, you know, Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, XY, right? Look for cards that are going for a low amount raw, but selling at a good premium in a PSA 10, and you can still do well in a 9. Then go to TCG Fish and see the percentage rate of what they're grading for at a 9 or a 10. Any of the cards that grade over a 50% 10 rate means you have a really good opportunity to get 10s when you send in mint cards. Those are the plays I would make because they have the highest, you know, the highest chance of doing well in them. So that's what I do with my plays. Sorry, I couldn't give you a specific card. I don't have any in mind off the top of my head. Thoughts on the TCG Classic Collectors box? How about the new Shiny Treasures? Guys, I've talked about a million times. I'm not a believer in it. Cool collection piece, but for $400, it seems like a glorified theme deck, right? It's got multiple pre-constructed decks, bunch of nice, cool items. Cool. For $400, I think I'd rather put my money in an Evolving Skies booster box. I talked about it before. You know, you give me a Evolving Skies box or that TCG Classic Collection, come back and ask me in 5 years. I don't see any way possible Evolving Skies is not worth more than the TCG Classic Collection box. I think it's an overpriced item. I think Pokemon at least was smart and didn't overprint it. But I think it is. There's still a lot out there, and I think the customer base for that's going to be low. But I mean, is it going to crash? No, probably not. Is it going to go to the moon? Probably not. My opinion. Could be wrong. We do agree a lot, much against the narrative. Absolutely, Mason. Absolutely. I just want opinions on the hobby, not on other PokeTubers. I get it, man. I get it. I'm trying to get away from it. I'm trying. As soon as I get out, it keeps pulling me back, man. Bone Thugs, anyone remember that song? I tried. It's so hard. It's kind of how I feel lately. We can take a minute to appreciate Mason's profile pic. Truly a gem. If you don't have a Cardinal Gaming sweatshirt, what are you doing? I think he meant Cardinal, not Cardinal. Appreciate it, Douglas. Thanks for being here, man. What are your general thoughts on third-party grading companies? They seem more for novelty and customization. What do you mean third-party grading companies? Like, isn't that all grading companies? Like PSA, CGC, Beckett? My thoughts are, I mean, I think they're necessary. One, for authentication, so you know you're transacting with an authentic card. Two, because it takes away the argument of what condition a card's in, right? Because they tell you what condition it's in by a number grade. 3, it protects the cards. 4, it's great for you know, improving the value of a raw card because a mint card doesn't sell for as much as a PSA 10 does. So I don't know. I like third-party grading companies. Don, member for 5 months now. Get on the live break tomorrow. Evolution's on deck. Don's already in. Yeah, and we still do. This time we are not sold out yet. So I still do have packs available for every single set. We did sell out last time. I'm determined not to sell out this time. I'm going to pay attention to how fast the orders come in tomorrow before the stream. If I have to, I'm going to run up and get some more product because I know people were unhappy. That's why I made sure to open 151 and Paradox Rift again to make sure I had enough for everyone that wanted some. What's up? How's the weather? There's thunderstorms in California. That's odd for you guys, isn't it? Weather's great here. A little chilly, but I like it this time of year. I gotta read this one. Does anyone watch Opossum Bud? If so, any thoughts on the recent video mentioning Nomics? What's the tea? I did want to address this. I'm not going to attack him like he attacked me. There is no tea. There's no tea to spill. He went out of his way to make fun of my video I made punching my bag on my shorts back in the day. And then he decided to interject himself again when I was disagreeing with one of the points Danny Phantom was making and really come at me hard. So there's no tea. I've never came at the guy. I'm still not going to come at the guy. Here's one thing bad I'll say about him. How about that? I think he's one of those guys that acts really hard on camera and just wants to be, you know, kind of that guy on YouTube. But I really doubt he would be that tough and in your face in person. So if I see him at a Collecticon, I'll be happy to let you know if he is. Because I'm the same as that guy on camera as I am on person. I'll tell you everything I'll say on camera right to your face, have no issues with it. I just like to be authentic. And if anyone ever does want to throw down, hey, I'm all for that too, right? Alex, have you dipped your wallet in sweet waters of TikTok? I haven't yet. I haven't. Probably should have by now, but I just haven't. Here's probably the reason. I haven't been buying a lot of the newer stuff, right? I stopped at Paldea Evolved. I haven't picked up Obsidian, Paradox Rift. Yeah, I picked up some 151. But I mean, I think I talked about it like 2 months ago. I put like another $10,000 into all Sword and Shield era alt art sets. Everything beside Battle Styles. I had enough Battle Styles. Didn't want any more of that. Since then, I haven't been buying a ton of sealed. I've been really focusing on buying singles and grading and getting my inventory for my business. But you know, I just don't feel like there's a rush right now for Scarlet and Violet era stuff. So I haven't been taking advantage of a lot of TikTok stuff. That's just kind of where it's at. And I know there have been deals on Silver Tempest and Lost Origin and some of the Sword and Shield sets. I mean, honestly, I put a lot of money in that stuff. I have a lot of it. I mean, yeah, it's always good to pick up more. I just, like I said, I'm literally, guys, I quit my job. I'm trying to make this my main source of income, at least one of my main sources. And so my investing is definitely not dead, right? I'm definitely still investing, but it's definitely taking a back seat right now to some other things. So that's kind of why I'm not buying as much sealed to sit on. I'm putting a lot more money to work right now. I'm not selling any of my investments though. I'm not selling off any of my sealed. Everything I'm selling is stuff I'm grading or singles I'm buying from collections. So I'm not selling. I'm just not purchasing tons and tons at the time being. New member. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining the Nostalgianomics fam. And again, anyone for the box breaks deal, if you are in the Nomics Fam Plus, you get 10% off all your packs. There's no limit on the box breaks. May have to change that in the future because people are really taking advantage of that. They're getting some great deals on packs. Still a good time to buy Celebrations UPC at 400? Well, it's not at 400. So if it was a good time at 400, then it's definitely a good time now. Honestly, I can't figure it out. I've literally considered, not really mass opening, but opening a good amount of Celebrations UPCs. I mean, you're starting to find those at like $350 a UPC. If you take the cost of what the packs are going for, you get like 17 Celebrations packs, and then all the other Sword and Shield era packs inside. You take all those dollar amounts, and then you take the price of the Pikachu promo, the Pokeball promo, the Metal Pikachu, and the Metal Charizard, then all the little extras. Literally, the value is like all there. especially if you want to grade those cards and you get like even some 10s. It's really crazy why the Celebration GPC is as cheap as it is. So I can't figure that out. So yeah, I think it's a good play still. Now, are there better plays at those prices? Yeah. But if it's like something you want for your collection, I don't know how it's going to go too much lower. And yes, I do see it continuing to rise in price in the future, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with Celebrate. I think it's just probably downturning with, other parts of the market. I'd rather spend $400 on Evolving Skies than Celebration GPC. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Evolving Skies is like $430s, $440s. Maybe it's cheaper on eBay as on TCG Player. And Celebration GPCs are like in the high threes now. So it's not really apples for apples, but yeah, it's close. I get what you're saying. Alex, the economy is definitely due for a recession. I think this doesn't change Pokemon being a good long-term investment. I still think Pokemon will stay popular. Downturn may just run cooler. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Just subbed at Poke Department Store. He subbed at Pokemon Department Store? Okay. There you go. Everyone's getting helped out here. Hey, they're subbing back to each other. There you go. I love it. Are we seeing investor flipper fatigue at this point in Scarlet and Violet with pull rates, card quality? From a collector standpoint, people have been saying it's a great time coming off the wave of 151. I don't know if it's fatigue as much as it is just people becoming smarter, right? A lot of people investing know they have time, right? So why would you put money there when you have time, when you might not have as much time to pick up a lot of these XY, Sun and Moon, even some Sword and Shield era stuff at the current prices, when they're probably going to keep going up and not see much downturns, when you're probably going to have a good 3, 6, 9, 12 months, even more, to pick up a lot of the Scarlet Violet era stuff around the same price. So I think people are just waiting. I don't think it's fatigue. I think people are just spending their money elsewhere. And the reason I can tell that is, like I said, with those eBay statistics, we're having more money spent in the last 30 days than we did in the 2022, October to November, in 2021, October to November, in the whole year of this year compared to last year and the year before. We're having more money spent on Pokemon and Pokemon cards. And so the money's going somewhere. It's just not going to those sets. Do you prefer to buy boxes at low price point or try to wait for a reprint so it's a shorter hold time, even if you have to pay a bit more? So before, it's changed, right? I used to just buy them when I saw low price points because I didn't care about having the dead money. I just wanted to get into the lowest possible cost I thought they were going to be. And then I didn't care how long I had to sit on things. Now that I'm a lot more cognizant of my working capital, I've been waiting a little longer, right? I'm trying to wait for better times and better entry points, and not getting in too early because I can use that capital better elsewhere for the time being. But I still do want to have long-term investments because I know a lot of people are like against it. Like, why would you hold anything? Just churn and burn and churn and burn. Well, because eventually I want to be able to, sell off these things, have passive investments making money for me, and not have to be on the grind of constantly buying and selling, flipping to make money. And so I think there's a spot for both. Oh, what else we got? How far am I back? Oh, nice. I'm almost caught up in the chat. Awesome. Everyone and their mamas are grading now. When I look at eBay raw cards, they're flooded with PSA listings. A lot of 9s are less than raw. Long-term effect to market. Now, this has been a thing before. This is not new. This is, when cards have downturns and sets had downturns, and like I said, some of the PSA, the grading market's soft right now. It was like that back in 2018. We saw huge drop-offs, like 17, 18, 19 time. There were drop-offs in graded cards. It's not new. This has happened before. It's just that, what was I going to say? It's the fact that, yeah, a lot of people are trying to grade themselves. And yeah, there are, if people see cards that can get at lower values than paying the graded, if people see things of values that are easy to grade and they think they can get a 10 with it, they're buying the raw card because they can grade it themselves and get a 10. Whereas, buying a 9 for the same price or more than a raw card, some people, it just doesn't make sense for them, right? There are still 9 collectors, but a lot of the 9s are just, they're getting flooded with the market. So I don't know if it's as much of a problem with the 10s as it is with the 9s, but yeah, the 9s are definitely having an issue. So I would say the whole graded market, but definitely the 9s. Oh, third party outside the big 3. I mean, like Ace, whatever it's called. Well, what about PCG, Rudy Alpha Investments Grading Company, right? They're going to be coming up, or Ace. You know, here's the issue. Trying to convince the large majority of collectors and investors that this is a trusted company, that this grade is reliable, putting it in their collection, right? You're putting it in a collection they already have with a bunch of slabs that don't match, that they don't like. It's a hard thing to do, to break habits of people. So that's why I'm not about it. But, you know, I mean, you just never know how things could happen. That's why I stick with PSA. And then obviously, you know, if you want to go for the Beckett Black Label, try to hit that lottery, go for it. You know, even the CGC Pristine on some cards can do well, but I'm not a fan of CGC. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of like the smaller grading companies. That's just me. Super interested in how you YouTubers change the price of cards. You think that's basically they have heaps, and bro, New Zealand has a strange market. I personally like that you don't rip cards. Rip cards? Oh, you mean like actually rip the cards? No, I don't do that. Yeah, I'm definitely used to it. I'll take the heat, man. What I would love if any of these YouTubers would want to dish out the heat and take the heat in person. That's where it gets fun for me, right? There's online beef back and forth. I can be cool and act tough on camera and use a bunch of, you know, mean words and attack you. Well, that's one thing, but hey, why don't we do the same thing in person, right? I'm all down for that. Here's the thing, guy. I've said it to people privately. When I was younger, I talk like I'm old, right? Like I'm some boomer, right? I'm only 33, but when I was younger, I definitely would clap back more, right? I'd definitely get down and dirty, and I'd go after people. And, you know, I probably would have made videos back at Opossum or some of the other guys that were making, you know, hate videos on me. But it's just, I've reached a point where in life where it's not worth it. It doesn't make me feel good to go like attack people and say mean things about them and all that. Like, it's just not what I'm about. So, you know, they can say what they need to say about me and get it off their chest. And, you know, they can have their followers, you know, all bash me and talk about how stupid I am and, you know, all the mean things they want to say in their comment sections. And then they can move on. They can get it all out of their system, and then they can go back to their regularly scheduled content, and good for them. They need to get that out, get that release. So be it. I'm glad I can be the subject of it, and it's not someone else that can't take it. Dude, you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something? Yeah, I used to fight, train in all the different disciplines of a bunch of different martial arts. But yeah, you know, Jiu-Jitsu is one of them. Yeah. Randy said, appreciate you addressing the comments. I'm a fan of both you and Opossum for what you both bring to the hobby. No side taking, no hate. Just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, look, all I'm going to say about all that is you will continue to see truths come out. Everything comes to the light. And, you know, I'm not ever going to attack anyone's character. And I'm the same person on screen as I am in person. And so we'll see if I ever cross paths with any of the people that talk trash on me in person. We'll see if they want to say the same things to my face then. Alex, any thoughts on opening a store down here? Huge market opportunities. A shoal down here? Shoal? I don't know what you're talking about. Was that a typo? SHOL? Am I missing something? I don't know what that is. Alex, there is T. He replied to me in a comment saying, you're mad he high-pitched your voice. Oh, that was I don't even know who that was. It was one of the guys who's, you know, always commenting mean things on me on my videos or other people. Rock Sandy. That's his name. Yeah, he made a video too the same time everyone else did. You know, after the Danny Phantom thing, they all jumped on me, and he sped up my voice, made me sound all high pitched like a chipmunk, trying to like make fun of me. And then Opossum thought I was like being a wuss or being a crybaby saying that. I'm like, guy, I don't care, dude. Do that all you want. I was just merely pointing out, hey, this is what other people do. They never stay on subject and actually talk about like what the actual topic is. Other people in the hobby, they try to attack people personally, right? They try to come down on you personally. And again, I can take it. It doesn't bother me. I'm not crying about anything. Do it all you want. I'm happy it's not me. I'm happy it's me other than someone else who can't take it and actually does take it personally. So yeah, he says I was like crying about it. I was merely pointing out the fact that, hey, these other people make response videos, not to respond to the things I was disagreeing with or the what I said in the video. It was just to make me look like an idiot. And so, hey, to a lot of people, I am an idiot. So, hey, you did your job and everyone can agree in the comment section, talk about how much they hate me. And again, we can move on. I bought a ton more Charizard UPCs. I think it's going to have its day here soon. As these packs keep going higher and higher, eventually people are going to say, okay, this is stupid. The packs inside are worth $120 and the promos are still worth money. I got to just crack all these and open them and sell off the packs and the promos. And once that happens, the sealed product starts going up because there's less and less available on the market. There will come a day when that happens. I'm telling you. You can't stop a whole era from rising. Open a shop here. And again, singles show, I will run it weekends with my kids. Open a shop? Yeah, hey, I know Mason's, always telling people it's a hard life and stuff, but, I'd love to open a shop. I talked about it with my wife before. I said, if I ever got to a point on YouTube, like where I was like a large influencer and I was making enough income on YouTube to pay for a shop's rent, right? So say the rent was, $2,500 a month. If I was making $2,500 a month ad revenue, I would 100% open a shop, right? Because in that way, it's like, okay, all I got to do is make videos, the shop's paid for, and that way I don't have all the overhead expense of owning a shop, and I can sell everything there, and, I'll still be able to, make money, and the hobby will support itself to where I'm not like, I don't have to stress about losing money or doing enough business and all that. So that'd be cool to own a shop. But as far as like me starting one up now, nowhere close to that. Not trying to start out in that business. Mason's already talked about it enough to where it scared me enough. But if it ever got to the point where I was like doing well enough on YouTube and like the content could support owning a shop, I definitely would do it. MGS. So where do you see vintage cards in 10 years? Minor growth, basically the same. I love vintage and think Pop Reports matters. The Moon Brown has already fallen and Pop PSA 10. PSA 10 Pop is skyrocketing. So this is all general, right? I did a video. If you saw my last video, I showed how tons of other high pop cards from XY, Sun and Moon have eaten, and not the alt arts, right? Not the tag teams, not the waifus, other cards who are some of the top hits in their set. They, saw big spikes with a boom. They crashed. They have, like 8,000-9,000 pops, 2,000-3,000 pop reports, just like a lot of the alt arts do. And they've continued to see rises now into 2023, even with those high pop reports. So I don't think it's an issue. You can hear sports card channels talk about it, that they don't think it's an issue. I don't think it's an issue having high pops, and I think they can rise over time. That doesn't mean I'm against vintage investing, right? I had very long conversations with some people about that after that video on Instagram. One of whom I talked to, I might bring him on the channel in the future to talk more about it. But there's definitely vintage cards I believe in, but the majority of vintage and mid-era, I don't. I don't think there's going to be enough interest and enough people that want to go back and collect all the mid-era and vintage sets and all the cards inside. Okay, so a lot of the niche sets, a lot of the niche species of Pokemon, I don't think they're going to do that great. So maybe 90, maybe 90+% of vintage. Now, when we start talking about first edition base, high grades, when we start talking about shinings, right, from Neo Revelation, Neo Destiny, high grades, when we start talking about crystals from Aquapolis and Skyridge, high grades, when we start talking about, some of the loved species from mid-era stuff, the gold stars, like when we start talking about like the top species, right, the Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaurs, the Gengars, the Lugias, like all that stuff in high grades and all like a real top rarity, top chases. Yes, I do believe in those holding and gaining value long term. But I don't believe in some, random Pokemon just because it has a low pop report and it's a, top hit in the set doing well. I don't believe in that. So it's a yes, no. Same thing. I don't believe in every modern card doing well, right? It's always hit and miss. So you really have to take it by card basis. But no, I don't think pop reports alone are the end all be all to if a card can perform well, right? I just don't believe that. A lot of other factors that go into it. The card species, the popularity, the demands, how many copies are actually available on the market, right? So how scarce is the card? And so there's a lot of those things. How hard the card is to pull out of a pack. Because even though Moonbriana is 9,000 copies, it still takes about 500 plus packs to pull that card. So a lot of things that go into why a card rises in value. It's not just pop report. Everyone's talking about One Piece. Absolutely. Romance Dawn to the moon. Hey, when I throw darts at a board, I get one right every once in a while. And that's the thing, guys, is when you do diversify out your plays and you do start throwing darts at boards, like how I started investing in, One Piece cases, or, how I got a bunch of I got Yu-Gi-Oh cases of the 25th, I guess, anniversary. And like when you start, people start throwing darts at all kinds of boards, like White Shorts and all, Disney Lorcana. Guess what? Eventually you get lucky, right? And that's what One Piece is. I'm no expert, right? But yeah, I mean, I took advice from people who knew more about it than I did, and who were, knew more about, the One Piece card game and industry. And yeah, I started putting money in it. And yeah, I did great. And that one investment is going to pay for 50 others that I didn't do well on, right? If I lose 10, 20, 30% on a lot of other investments, well, guess what? That one, it's like a 10x or whatever, 6, 7x from when I got it at. And so, it's kind of what happens as you get deeper in this hobby, make more plays, make more investments. The winners, when they're big winners, they pay for all the missteps that you have. Nope, still didn't pre-order OP5. No, I haven't. I gotta read this one. No way Opossum would be that angry if he was regularly getting some. Oh, geez. You guys are going hard. If you've got haters, that means you're doing something right. That's what I'm told. I must be doing a lot of things right because I got a lot of haters in this PokeTube space. Is it worth grading a moderately played base set 2 Charizard? I paid $90. You'd have to look. Moderately played, I'm guessing this sounds like it could be anywhere from like a low PSA to like a PSA 6. I don't know, what, 3 to a 6 maybe. I would just look at what those are selling for. And if they're selling for enough over what that card and the PSA grading fee would cost. If it's not, then it's not worth grading. It's kind of this normal rule of thumb. If you're worried about it, like you want to make sure it's authenticated, that'd be the only reason if the price doesn't make sense. You are definitely not the same person. You're way better looking. Gotta love Ponga, man. What's up, bro? I appreciate that. This guy is better than Opossum. Guy, sorry. I clicked on that. I'm not trying to talk down Opossum and other people. Family fun. I appreciate you having my back, but I read a couple of comments because they're hilarious, but I don't want to just straight attack people the way other people do on their channels. It's not what we're here for. Yeah, crypto market's doing great. I'm at see you in Uranus. I'm invested in some crypto related stocks right now, and it's been a wild ride. Definitely seeing some major gains right now from when I got in. Still holding for I have been trading in and out of some because I'm just trying to. I do the same thing I can do in Pokemon with my trading. When I see massive gains in a day or two, I usually try to take profits off the table. And then when I see major drops, I try to get back in. So I'm definitely trading. I'm holding as well. But yeah, the crypto play, it's back in favor. It's back in the hype. Those are the times when you want to try to get in with the trend. The trend's your friend. And I think it's going to continue to carry for a little while. That girl, $2 super chat. If you could be any Pokemon, what would you be? Got to be Mewtwo. Mewtwo, in my opinion, is still the strongest and best Pokemon out there. So I would be Mewtwo, controlling everything with my psychic abilities. Oh. Nicola, just listen to the podcast you spoke about in the start of the video. As an European guy, it's wild how much drama and manipulating is going on in the U.S. Pokemon. Yeah, it really is. It's always been that way. Since, YouTube kind of became a thing with Pokemon investing, unfortunately. What do you think about modern loose packs sell the best? They trying to offload certain packs from collection boxes. I would just cross list as many places as possible and just try to widen your customer base as much as you can. Unless like one place has way higher prices that they're actually selling for, then just go with that one. But as long as they're all kind of the same price, I just try to, kind of blanket it out there, and you'll have the most customer base and most sales. All right, guys, it looks like I made it. I made it to the end of the chat. I think we had a great live today. If anyone came late, make sure to go back to the beginning of this video and check out the first like 20 to 30 minutes. I showed a lot of clips, and a lot of tea was spilt, and you got to kind of see large people who are kind of pillars of this hobby, who have been in since the beginning, like back when Pokemon was first starting out in the US, and who have the largest Pokemon collections, and who have contacts and personal relationships and are respected by every large creator, every large business, every large collector. Finally speaking out and talking about some of the things that are happening behind the scenes where this didn't ever happen before. So it's good to see that, because that now it's not just people trying to get drama or clicks. It's stuff that's actually happening and needs to be discussed. Does anyone have any last minute questions before I leave? I will take any, and then we will call it a day, and I'll let everyone get back to their fun-filled lives. Thanks everyone for showing up in the middle of the day like this. I really appreciate that. I am throwing in some more night streams. Also, shameless plug. Make sure if you want to be in tomorrow's pack break, nostalgianomics.com, you can buy Pokemon 151 packs coming straight out of a UPC. You can buy Evolutions packs straight out of an Evolutions booster box, or Paradox Rift packs straight out of a Paradox Rift booster box. The boxes and the packs will be ripped live on screen tomorrow. Anything here? Leaf Green Goblin says, bye, everyone. Anything? Alex, you're more Hitmonchan than Mewtwo. That's fair. I'll take that. Crown Zenith Pikachu box worth it? Sure, it's worth it. I'm not saying it's the best thing in the entire world, but sure, it's worth it at that price. How do you see graded light packs playing out in the future? I like them. I like light packs. I'm a sealed collector. Some of the first sealed items I bought were WotC packs. I like to put them on stands and display them and have like the whole art sets and everything. And, I get what people are, some people's gripe about it is there's no value inside, so they shouldn't be worth anything. But, like I said, sealed products, sealed investors, they like it. So as far as like an investment value, I don't know if they'll hold. Obviously, if the prices of the sets rise, they'll probably, rise at some point, in some way, shape, or form. But I just think they'll hold some sort of value just for collectors liking to have the sealed pack. So I think they'll do relatively well. They'll hold value. It'll be a Gastora value. I don't know if they'll be like the best investment though, as well. I'll say. Which era had your favorite full art trainer cards? Oh man. XY is my favorite modern era, but I think as Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield came up, they probably printed better full art trainer cards. And now with Scarlet and Violet's getting even crazier. I guess I'll stick with, I don't know. I can't even answer that. I like them all. XY is my favorite modern era, though. We'll say XY. I have no belts. No, I do not have a blue belt. So I never go with the belts. I did the gi once. So here's the problem. I had been fight training since I was 16, and we had been working jiu-jitsu. We had been working, boxing, Muay Thai, all the different disciplines, right? Worked out wrestling or judo, all that type of stuff. And so I was a well-rounded fighter. And we switched, kind of everyone I was training with, we all combined with another school. And, everyone there was on, they were on a belt system, right? They were all under a Gracie, and they all did jiu-jitsu, like the classes, not just fight training. There was the jiu-jitsu sport classes, and there was the fight training. I tried it one time. I hated it. Hated wearing the gi. And I just didn't like the slowness of it and everything. If you're asking me like kind of what level I'm at, I'm like a strong like purple belt level, you know, into like maybe a brown, like, you know, on any given day I can beat brown and black belts, right? So that kind of gives you like a level. Blue belt, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely above a blue belt level. You know, guys, I've been doing this since I was 16, 33. So I've been rolling a long time. You know, I did have 3 fights under my belt before I had the back surgery, but you know, I never got into the belt system. I just didn't like gi jiu-jitsu. I like no gi. I think if you get into jiu-jitsu fresh as a sport, it's much easier to jump into gi. But if you've already been fighting and you've been rolling for years, no gi with just a rash guard, it's a completely different world, and I didn't like it. No one is going to want black and white XY cards in the future. They will want Moonbury on Sword and Shield. So, Vinny, the reason that's not true is the second biggest boom in Pokemon was XY. It was Pokemon Go, the cell phone game, and then Generations and Evolutions. You can see even on Google Trends, that's when the other largest amount of people entered the hobby. Like with me, I have the most nostalgia, obviously, for base set and WotC and XY. Like if I could choose to go and collect anything, it'd be those 2 eras over anything else. And so you have to remember that, like, not everyone entered the hobby at Sword and Shield. Some people did in Sun and Moon with Hidden Fates. Some people did with Sword Shield. Some people did with 151 now. So whenever you kind of get back in the hobby, usually that's going to hold a special spot. So I disagree with that. XY, so underrated. Don's back. Vinny's getting his purple belt jiu-jitsu anytime now. Hey, Vinny. Man, if you ever want to roll, if you ever come to like a Collecticon or something, we can have a roll. It'd be fun. That's awesome. Hey, purple belts, it's a good level. Anyone gets to a purple belt level, you're definitely strong. That's a huge accomplishment. You've obviously been doing this for a good amount of years now, I can tell. Life, XY, and black and white hit different. The market isn't based on your personal favorite era. Yeah. Oh, he means kids now? Yeah, I mean, kids getting in, like right now, maybe not, but a lot of kids got in back in XY, right? A lot of people already had kids, and a lot of kids did get in with Pokemon Go, the game, with Evolutions, with all that going on. So it just depends. There's a market for everyone. All right, guys, that is it. Thanks, everyone, for coming by, stopping by the live today. Hope you got something out of it. Yeah, be back here. I'll probably try to release a video tomorrow, and then I'll also be back here in the live stream for the pack openings tomorrow night. And see you guys then. I am out.